This is a phenomenal compliment. Let me tell you my formula. My formula is build, break, build. Now we're going to break it down further than that. But what it means is that you build somebody up, you break it a little bit, and then you build them up again. Yet you don't use the word but. Because if you use the word but in between those, it negates everything you said beforehand. So it's like build, break, build, no but. And the idea is to meet somebody where they're at. Always assume ignorance. And not ignorance in the new definition, but ignorance in the idea that somebody just doesn't know. Always approach it as somebody just doesn't know, or their experience is so vastly different that whatever you're trying to say is a foreign concept, and that they've never even thought of anything different. And when you meet somebody in that place of ignorance, you can't be angry with them or critical, or not nearly as much because they didn't know. It's like being angry at somebody who is unable to hear because they didn't hear you yelling. That's terrible. You can't do that. And so when you approach things, you always approach it from that kind of assuming ignorance. But you're going to spin it in a positive way. Then you're going to deliver the negative. Whatever it is that needs to be done better, whatever it is that's creating the issue or the need for the conversation, and do your best in that moment to make sure that they understand. This negative is what's bringing things down. So you have to break that in order to rebuild it, which brings you to the last point of rebuild. Here's how we do things better. Here's how we can take the tools that you had prior, the place that you're struggling, the deficit, the place you had to break, and now we can rebuild better. And you can tell the content of a person's character on how they're willing to hear something. Do they have a fixed mindset or a flexible mindset? Because a fixed mindset is the assumption that you are correct and the people who don't agree with you are wrong. A flexible mindset is, theoretically, I could be the wrong one. So let's unlearn what we've learned and relearn it. Because one of two things is going to happen. You're either going to be better studied or you're going to be corrected. And who wants to walk around the world being wrong? I guess there is a third scenario of agreeing to disagree. But in the flexible mindset, you're going to be able to see the person beyond the problem. And so if you're in the position to be able to offer advice in this build, break, build, and we do that whether it's a team at work, whether it's our children, whether it's friendships, we use this build, break, build principle to be able to convey the message, preserve the relationship, but still correct the problem. Though since I brought up fixed mindset, let's talk about that a little bit. There are a lot of people on our planet right now, especially on social media, who are living in a fixed mindset that algorithms are then in turn feeding more of the fixed mindset principles, so it's keeping them more steadfast in that they are right and they can't be corrected. And I come at that from a place of compassion, because they don't know. And in the world of AI and machine learning, the algorithms are keeping them wrong, because it's all they're being fed. The best way to deal with people who have a fixed mindset is to develop a relationship, develop a rapport, and live your life differently. Live your life before them so they can see that there's something different about you. And maybe they'll start to ask questions. Anyway, I hope that helps you say hard things without seeming like a jerk face to people. Because the goal is no jerk face, just better opinions.